Hey guys, alright, in today's video we're going to talk about zero and negative exponents. Up until now we've only talked about positive exponents, so this is going to be something a little bit new. When we have zero and negative exponents, they work a little bit differently. So I'm going to try to explain it. I'm going to call this the ladder method. So in this table I have a list of a bunch of powers. This is 4 to the power 3, 4 to the power 2, to the 1, new one, 4 to the power 0. And then we have our negative exponents there, so we're going to learn how to use both of them in one method. In the middle column, I expanded them. So I showed how to expand them for the positive ones, which we should know how to do already. And on the right, we have the value. So let me actually fill in here. 4 to the first, we know, is just 4. 4 to the second is 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 to the third is 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Now, the interesting thing about exponents, when you talk about it right in the beginning, you learn that exponents are repeated multiplication. That's why it just keeps growing. 4, and then 4 times 4, and then 4 times 4 times 4. Well, obviously, if we kept going, we'd multiply by more 4s, but what if we go down? So I want to look at the pattern. Going up this ladder, we multiply by 4 to get from one step to the next. But going down the pattern, we would have to do the opposite thing, right? Rather than multiplying by 4 to get from 16 to 64, we would go the other direction, which is dividing by 4. So that's right, going down, we will divide by 4. So now if we continue that pattern, that helps us figure out what 4 to the 0 power is. Look at this, from 4 divided by 4, I'm going to have the value of 4 to the 0th power is going to be 1. A lot of people make that mistake there. They think 4 to the 0th power, for some reason they think anything to the 0th power is 0. But it's not going to work out that way. It's actually, if you follow the pattern, 1. And we can keep following that pattern. 1 divided by 4 is 1/4. And if I show that in the expanded version, that's just 1 over 4 to the first. Keep going. That's going to be 1 over 16, which rather than writing this 1 over 16 in the expanded version, I could say that this is 1 over 4 squared. And then going down again, let's do one more. If you're getting this pattern, what do you notice here? Look at our denominators. You have a denominator of 4, denominator of 16. Look what's up here. Our next denominator is going to be 1 over 64. You guessed it, 1 over 4 to the third. So what we should look and notice here at this table is that when we have a negative exponent, it's just the inverse of the positive exponent. So let's do another example. If I have 2 to the third, that equals 8. If I have 2 to the negative third, that equals 1 over 2 to the third, the inverse, the reciprocal of my base. And then I can evaluate it as 1/8. So 2 to the third and 2 to the negative third are inverses of each other. That's one thing you got to realize about negative exponents. A lot of people think that it's going to make their answer negative because they're so used to that. But it's new with exponents. It's really telling us to take the inverse of it, to flip it. So I have a couple rules to help you remember this. Let's just do another example. Let's do 5 to negative third. Well, so if I'm trying to evaluate a negative exponent, I have a rhyme that I go with. I go with cross the line, change the sign. So what that means, pretend that this is a fraction. 5 to the negative third over 1 is the same thing as I had before. But now, I can't evaluate this really until I make it a positive exponent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my power, cross the line. Anytime I cross over this fraction bar, I'm going to change the sign of my exponent.
Donna McDevitt, please dial extension 3006. Donna McDevitt, please dial extension 3006.
Hear that? Interrupted my video. So again, anytime I take my power and I cross my fraction bar, I'm going to change the sign of my exponent. cross the line, change the sign. So, crossover, that becomes 5 to the positive third. And just like I said before, it's the reciprocal, so something's got to be on top here, and that's going to be 1 over 5 to the third. So now we can evaluate it. We know 5 to the third is 5 times 5 times 5. And so this should give us a final answer of 1 over 125. All right, let's take a pause right now. I'm going to come up with a couple examples, and we'll do part 2 of the video. Let's go.